Welcome to Sprinkled with Hope. This is your host, Shane, and today we are going to take you on a journey of where we've been in life, lessons that we've learned, and really show you a side of us that hopefully you really enjoy.
And this is Jason. And this journey is a lot about the things that me and Shane have learned throughout the years and just kind of how we got to where we are and how we came up with this Sprinkle with Hope podcast. So come along with us on this journey.
Welcome to the Sprinkled with Hope podcast.
This is Jason.
And this is Shane.
And it's podcast time.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Sprinkle with Hope podcast. This is Jason.
And this is Shane. In our episode 9, which is the next episode we're going to release, we have a really special guest. We're so excited that they're going to be joining us, and you will not want to miss this episode. We're super excited about it. It will make an impact on everyone's life. So tune into that one. But for now, this episode, episode 8, is all about us and our journey of how we got here. Jason, why don't you start us off? Why don't you tell us how we got here?
Well, it's a great story, and me and Shane have always wanted to uh, be kind of coaches or help people along the path of life in their struggles and the things that are difficult that we deal with on a daily basis. And we've always wanted to be involved in that in some way or fashion. And so we had talked about it a couple of months ago, and we just decided, look, let's just do this. But leading up to that, in our life, we've had various different things, challenges, hiccups, things along the road that would have probably been stumbling blocks and held people back from their true potential. But we saw it as kind of a springboard to get us forward. And through those challenges, we've learned a lot. And we just want to share some of those challenges, some of those beautiful things that we've been able to come out on the other side of. And we want to share that with you in this episode.
Yeah, so you're going to hear us talk a lot about life and that life is hard. And for Jason and myself, it's hard. We have tough times that we have to struggle through. And we've talked about this a little bit over the last week or so, that we have those same challenges that other people have, right? But we decide every day how we're going to handle life or how positive we're going to be or just everything. So let me give you a little bit background about me, because we really do want to connect with our podcast family. And Jason and I spoke about this today and said, you know what, we truly believe that we're talking to each one of you individually. Every time we do this, it is about each one of you. And if it makes a difference in one of your life, then this whole thing is worth it. So on social media, I tend to be very positive. I am upbeat. I don't really like getting in arguments or anything like that. So I avoid that completely. I have used social media for years and years and very positive. Um, about February of 2017, so a few years ago, I was the same way. I was posting positive messages on my Facebook account, and a young man was, I think at the time he's probably 14 or 15. He said, "Shane, why don't you create a page and share your positive messages?" And I thought, that sounds like a great idea. Thank you for pushing me over. So March 2nd, 2017, I started a page. And ever since then, for the last 2 or 3 plus years, I share almost every day just something that's uplifting, something that I find uh, that's encouraging. And, again, I did that because I, I just want to help even if it's one person, it makes it so worth it for me. And one specific message that I shared blew me away. I didn't think much about it. A few hundred people usually see it. You can see who's interacting with it if you own the page. And this one specific one talked about coming out of the storm, and what you learned from the storm is really what it's all about. And it took off. I think it ended up reaching something like 8,000 people. I was shocked. I couldn't believe it. Well, that was motivating to me. You can probably tell because I was just used to seeing 200, 300, 400, 500 people, and it shot up to 7 or 8,000 people. I thought, oh my goodness, I just shared a positive message with that many people. How awesome is that if you really think about it? So, moving forward, a few months ago, Jason's like, hey, Shane, you want to start a podcast? I was like, absolutely. This is another way that we can share a positive message and focus on the one person. If it means a difference in one person's life, that is absolutely worth it for Jason and myself. I can tell you that every single day. It really, truly is about each one of you. We're so happy that we started this. Of course, we've had some hiccups already, but we're learning. That's what we'll keep saying is we're learning. That's the whole reason why we're doing this. So I was, like in 2017 when I got a little push from a young man. Jason was my push again to say, hey, let's do this. And we are very happy that we started it. We see really good things happening with this. So that's kind of a little bit of background about how I started sharing positive messages. So
Yeah, and you know, let me share a little bit of background for those that don't know who I am. So back in 2005, I started flying helicopters as a profession. I went through flight school and then I became a flight instructor. That is the time in my life that I really learned and felt like I wanted to start helping people. As a flight instructor, I saw people struggling that had the capabilities, had the wherewithal, the knowledge, but for whatever reason, they just struggled with it. And it just made it solidify in my mind that I just wanted to help people. And I loved helping people from that day on. And it makes me so happy when I can help somebody either get over their fear, get past a struggle, help them feel like they have somebody they can talk to, a friend. And I saw so many positive things come from that time when I was living in Oregon and I was a flight instructor. And so those that do know me know that helicopters have always been my passion. And there came a point that I've gone away from helicopters and I've come back to them and I've gone away with them. But the thing that is with me is I always try to continue to move forward. And I think the thing that kept drawing me back to flying helicopters is that feeling that I got when I was a flight instructor, helping people. It's something I think so deeply about all the time is helping others and sharing positivity and helping them when they're struggling the most, the struggling student and helping them get through a difficult challenge. And that's really kind of just the start of where my journey is. So Shane, if you want to share some other things.
yeah, I wasn't going to share this, but I feel like it's appropriate now. Because again, you and I have talked a lot about connecting with our audience. We feel like that's important. And we want you to know that we are very real people. We're going to tell you that we struggle in life. I have gone through some personal challenges, some challenging times. Personally, I went through a divorce in 2002, and that was tough for me. I never thought I would I never thought I would go through something like that. Well, shortly after that, I wanted to learn more about the process, so I took some courses at the university here to teach me how to be a mediator. And it was amazing how, like you were talking about, helping other people. I had just gone through a divorce, it was tough, but I chose, we'll talk a lot about this, I chose at that time to reach out and help other people that were struggling in their marriage. Now, I didn't charge them for talking to me. I simply wanted them to be more aware than I was when I went through what I went through. I was reaching my hand out to help them. It again, it was a tough time for me. Sometimes it's still tough for me, but I woke up every day at that time and said, you know what? I hope that I can help one more person be a little bit more knowledgeable, maybe avoid it if they can. Of course, they're going to have their own choice, but maybe something that I'm going to say might help them in any way. And that's really kind of how it started back in 2002 for me. I at the time, a lot of people have New Year's resolutions, right? And I thought, you know what? I've never really liked those because I think they last until January 5th or 6th, and then
Right.
people forget about them. But in 2002, I said, you know what? This is a tough year, but I want to have a motto. I'm going to have a motto for the year. So every year going forward, I'm going to have a motto, and that motto happened to be the you in 2002. And every day I reminded myself, I want to be who I really am. I really wake up every day and tell that to myself. And it is amazing how it changed my life. Really, I feel like it did. And Jason knows I have struggled with that. But that was really my starting point of saying I can go through hard things, but reach out to other people and help them through. We'll probably talk a lot about swimming because that's one of our passions. Jason and I have been going to the local swim park quite a bit, and it is so fun to watch people that say, "I am terrified of this ride," and we help them overcome that. And you can see it when they just push the fear aside and they just go down whatever they're afraid of. It is so fun to watch. We've been having a blast, and I think when Jason and I get together, we I think are a little more vocal than we normally are. We love to talk to people, and we just I think that helps people feel comfortable with us and want to talk to us. And so that is my hope, is that through this podcast, that each one of you can feel that from us, that we truly want to connect with each of you. We want to communicate with you. We want to help you through tough times, through good times, any way we can. We're here to help lift you up. And uh, I have to mention one other thing, and then you can chime in. But we talked about this today. Jason and I, we're not doctors. We're not professionals. We are two guys going through life the best we feel like we can. And that's what we bring to the table. We're not going to bring a doctor mindset. We're not going to bring a psychologist. We're not any of those things. We're just real people wanting to help you guys out.
Yeah, and I think we're real people with real problems, right? And that's
For sure.
what allows us to have that ability, I think, to help others in this time of need, especially now with COVID and everything going on. One of the things I wanted to share that some may or may not know about me as well is in 2010, I joined the U.S. Army. And when I was going through basic training, I had what I consider one of my really good friends that I met when I was in basic training. And what happened was we helped each other out. He was really good at physical training, PT, and he could run fast. He could, do 100 push-ups, no problem. And it was something that I struggled with, was the physical training aspect of it. But when it came to the other skills, the knowledge, studying the books, things like that, the shooting range, I had those skills already. And so it was awesome for me to help him and him to help me. So we just helped each other get through the difficult things that we faced at that time. And it was so amazing. And I still to this day send messages to him and I talk to him, even though I haven't seen him since 2010, when we went through basic training. But he is such an inspiration and a guiding light in my life to what two humans should do and should act like, no matter what we look like or the way we act, dress, whatever. We just loved each other enough that we wanted to help each other out. And it's just something I wanted to share, that's from my history of a special experience that I had with a special human being.
That's really awesome. I don't know if I've told you enough, but thank you for your service. I appreciate it. I know a lot of people do, so thank you for that. One thing that just popped into my mind, and I can speak for myself, and I believe I can speak for you, but Jason and I feel like everyone is our friend. We just might not have met you yet. We truly believe that we're all just friends, and maybe we haven't met you yet, but we're excited to meet you. Then we can call you our true friend. So I hope I can speak for you as well.
Absolutely. And I think, I mean, you mentioned it earlier, but the fact that you and I go to this local water park so much, and we every time we go, we always meet somebody new, and we're always talking to them, helping them out. I mean, we had there's one guy and his son asked me and Shane to go on a ride together that's kind of like a racing ride, where you race down on these mats. And he's like, "Hey, do you guys want to race us?" And afterwards, he introduced himself to us, and that's really, you know, absolutely what we are. We are true to ourselves. We are we're human beings. We have struggles. We have trials. But through that, right, in the darkness, we can still be light. We can still see light because of hope. And we have that hope that each day will be better. Tomorrow will be better than it was today. And that as we share that love with you and with others, you will feel that as we're talking, and that you can really feel a part of this. And hopefully you do.
Yeah, we really do hope that you feel a part of our podcast family. Whether you personally know us or not, we really do hope that you feel that you are part of our family, that eventually we can all become friends and meet each other. That would be awesome. That's a little background to how we got here. When Jason said, let's start a podcast, we both bought a few pieces of equipment and then realized, oh, we need this connector to connect to this and connect to that. So we've been buying connectors to connect everything, and I think we finally figured it out. So we don't have expensive equipment. We just have what we feel in our hearts and our minds, and we want to bring that message of hope and happiness and positivity to the world. Uh, and this is again another way that we can do that. So I'm so excited that we chose this. It's been a learning experience for sure already, and I know that we'll learn more as we go.
Absolutely. And I think, so much of what we have going on today, we just need this more positivity in our lives. And I can't stress it enough that if we only lived by a law where we can love one another more and better each day, just how much happier we would be. I see so much negativity, and if we could just change that mindset just a little bit to start thinking in a positive way and helping those that are really struggling. I mean, it seems like with social media now, we're a little bit disconnected from each other. And, we've got this social distancing, which I don't really like that terminology to begin with, but because we can be physically distanced, but not socially, right? Like we can be 6 feet apart, but still be social and
Yeah,
talking to each other. And so I just think we all need that connection in our lives with those that we have around you, those that are in your ear, like this podcast, that can help bring and shed more light and positivity in your life that you may be struggling with. And so hopefully we can be that for you.
for sure. I I I believe that as well. So we're so happy that you're choosing to join our journey with us. We really do hope that you get something out of this, each one of you, but on a personal level, that we hope we're reaching every single one that listens to this, and they might have a little more hope or a little more positive outlook on life. That's really something that's really important to Jason and myself, and we hope that this brings that to you.
And just kind of the last thing that I want to mention, Shane, is don't ever give up on your dreams. We had this idea that we wanted to help people, and this is what we're doing. We are taking that action. We are acting on the thing that we believe in. Don't let somebody else tell you that you can't do it. Just do it.
And and I'll just add one last thing, because you mentioned, yeah, don't let anybody tell you you can't do it. And most importantly, that person cannot be you. If you want to do something, you have to tell your mind that you're going to just do it. So totally agree with that. Make sure that you're not the one that's holding yourself back. Shoot for the stars, because we certainly are.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And please stay tuned to their next episode. It's going to be amazing.
It is.
This is Sprinkled with Hope. If you liked this episode, please share it with a friend.
If you like our podcast, please give us a review or rating.